The history of Bitcoin prices. After a stunning surge in value this year, Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are suddenly the hottest investment since the dot-com bubble. And early purchasers of Bitcoin are suddenly watching the zeros multiply on their accounts. Many crypto investors are reluctant to talk about their holdings. In France, they say, live hidden and be happy. That is because alt-currencies are still associated with illicit activity, although that is changing. After all, you wouldn't say that because the US dollar has been used for illegal activities, you should no longer use the US dollar, would you? What has changed? The fact is, in 2021, institutional investors are coming on board, and some countries with weaker currencies are pegging their money to Bitcoin as well as to the US dollar. One key factor fueling the rise has been further institutional adoption. Some companies, such as Tesla, have bought Bitcoin using cash on its balance sheet and announced that you can buy Tesla cars with Bitcoin. One of the largest online payment platforms, PayPal, is now accepting Bitcoin. In March 2021, Morgan Stanley was the first major US bank to announce that it would provide access to Bitcoin funds for its wealth management clients. Another Wall Street titan, Goldman Sachs, is also expected to take similar steps for clients of its private wealth management group. All these elements have pushed up the value of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies to dizzying heights. Volatile price history of Bitcoin. Among asset classes, Bitcoin has been one of the more volatile trading histories. Some experts have drawn parallels between Bitcoin and the Dutch tulip mania of the 17th century. Satoshi Nakamoto, Bitcoin's inventor, designed it for use as a tool for daily transactions and a way to get around the traditional banking infrastructure after the 2008 financial collapse. Cryptocurrency has yet to gain traction as a currency, but that is changing fast with Bitcoin bank cards that can be attached to your wallet. Bitcoin is now being considered as a store of value and a hedge against inflation. But Bitcoin's price story has changed in recent times. Institutional investors are trickling in after the maturing of the cryptocurrency markets, and regulatory agents are crafting rules specifically for them. Though the Bitcoin price remains volatile, it is now part of the mainstream economy as opposed to be influenced by speculators looking for quick profits through momentum trades. Key takeaways. Since it was first introduced to the world more than a decade ago, Bitcoin has had a choppy and volatile trading history. Bitcoin's price has undergone multiple bubbles in a short history. The factors influencing its price has changed with Bitcoin's evolution as an asset class. The narrative surrounding Bitcoin has shifted from being a currency to a store of value as a hedge against inflation and uncertainty around the US dollar's future purchasing power. Speculation has always influenced Bitcoin's price history. Volatility has always been part of Bitcoin's price history. The first such instant occurred in 2011. Bitcoin's price jumped from $1 in April of that year to a peak of $32 in June, a gain of 3,200% within 3 short months. That steep ascent was followed by a sharp recession in the crypto markets, and the Bitcoin's price bottomed out at $2 in November 2011. 2013 proved to be a decisive year for Bitcoin's price. The digital currency began the year trading at $13.40 and underwent 2 price bubbles in the same year. The first of these occurred when the price shot up to $220 by the beginning of April 2013. That swift increase was followed by an equally rapid deceleration in its price, and the cryptocurrency was changing hands at $70 in mid-April. But that was not the end of it. Another rally and associated crash occurred towards the end of that year. In early October, the cryptocurrency was trading at $123.20, and by December had spiked to $1,156.10. But it fell to $760 3 days later. These rapid changes signaled the start of a multi-year slump in Bitcoin's price, and it touched a low of $315 at the beginning of 2015. The fifth price bubble occurred in 2017. The cryptocurrency was hovering around $1,000 price range at the beginning of that year. After a period of brief decline in the first 2 months, the price charted a remarkable ascent from $9.75 on March 25 to $20,089 on December 17th. The 2017 hot streak also helped place Bitcoin firmly in the mainstream spotlight. Governments and economists took notice and began developing digital currencies to compete with Bitcoin. Analysts debated its value as an asset, even as a slew of so-called experts and investors made extreme price forecasts. As in the past, Bitcoin's price moved sideways for the next 2 years, and in between there were signs of life. For example, there was a resurgence in price and trading volume in June 2019, and the price surpassed $10,000, rekindling hopes of another rally, but it fell to $7,112 by December of the same year. Influence of the pandemic on Bitcoin prices. It was not until 2020, when the economy shut down due to the pandemic, that the Bitcoin's price burst into activity once again. The cryptocurrency started the year at $7,200, and the pandemic shutdown and subsequent government policy fed into investors' fears about the global economy and accelerated Bitcoin's rise. At the close of November 23, Bitcoin was trading for $18,353. The pandemic crushed much of the stock market in March, but the subsequent stimulus checks of up to $1,200 may have had a direct effect on the markets. Upon the release of those checks, the entire stock market, including cryptocurrency, saw a huge rebound from the March lows and even continued past their previous all-time highs. Weakened purchasing power of the US dollar. These checks further amplified concerns over inflation and a potentially weakened purchasing power of the US dollar. Money printing by governments and central banks helped to bolster the narrative of Bitcoin as a store of value, as its supply is capped at 21 million. This narrative began to draw interest among institutions instead of just retail investors, who were largely responsible for run-up in price in 2017. Continued institutional interest in the cryptocurrency further propelled its price upward, and Bitcoin's price reached just under $24,000 in December 2020, for an increase of 224% from the start of that year. It took less than a month for Bitcoin to smash its previous price record and surpass $40,000 in January 2021. Bitcoin eventually reached a peak of more than $64,000 on April 14, 2021. It has since fallen to $29,000 and is, as of August 15, 2021, trading at $47,228 once again. Countries using Bitcoin as legal tender. El Salvador made Bitcoin legal tender on the 9th of June 2021. It was the first country to do so. The cryptocurrency can be used for any transactions where the business can accept it. The US dollar continues to be El Salvador's primary currency. As with any new investment, it is important for you to do your research and understand all the risks. The experts say that you shouldn't invest in crypto if it means you can't meet other financial needs like paying off debt, building an emergency fund, or maxing out other retirement accounts. And just because crypto is new and interesting doesn't mean that you need to invest in it at all. After all, people have been successfully saving and investing for retirement since long before the crypto was around. To learn more about the events that affected the Bitcoin prices in 2020 and 2021, go to the article on the website cryptonationnetwork.com/Bitcoin. Enjoy.